All right. Welcome back. Sound on Sports episode 453-ish,
And we
somewhere
won
in
the
there.
Super Bowl, man. Another Super Bowl. Let's
We did
fucking
it.
go.
Let's fucking go. You know what I did today for like 20 minutes? I just looked up Sam Darnold comeback stories, Sam Darnold Super Bowl, Sam Darnold and then I just scrolled through like countless edits of just like Sam Darnold going, "I'm seeing ghosts." And then next clip, him holding the Lombardi. Did that for
Even though
30
the
minutes.
sports calendar is passing us by, we can still be like, won the Super Bowl, and we're champions until next February. So
I mean, the Niners have done
That's
it
the
for the
excuse you
last
can do
30
anything
years.
now.
Niners fans have done it for the last 30 years, so I think we can do this every single episode probably.
yeah,
I saw some stupid Niners fan on TikTok yesterday. He's like, let me make this video to the idiots in the Northwest. Your Super Bowl doesn't matter. You haven't heard of you guys for the last 10 years.
right.
You guys are irrelevant before you won that Super Bowl. And then all the comments were
I
like,
love pulling up
Niners
the stats before or when we joined the NFC West in 2002 because we have dominated the NFC West ever since joining. So yeah, it's kind of crazy, but they're like, yeah, shut up, Pipsqueak, but we're gonna get our third ring next year's.
I saw another TikTok too, and it was like my accurate NFC predictions for next year. If you disagree, you don't know ball. And it had us missing the playoffs. And the whole comment section was like, the Seahawks literally won the Super Bowl and are still being slept on. Like, what is that about?
We need it though. That
Disrespect.
fuels our run. I swear.
Underdog. We are the underdog. All right. Well, there's an arguably actually confirmed bigger franchise in Seattle that kicked off their season this weekend. Confirmed. Fatty, wipe the stupid grin off your face.
Man, spring training.
Let's go.
Let's go. Sounders 2-0 win. We've done it. Brody, we're finally back. We're finally rocking and rolling. Finally a sport that Fatty can talk about consistently and confidently.
They play just the right amount of games
to watch.
to watch. I watched every minute.
For those that don't know, Fatty, a confirmed baseball fan, is complaining about how many games in NHL season last week. Still rambles on, but we'll move.
Yeah, go. Hell yeah, Sounders. We're going to dub. Let's talk about it.
Okay, Brody, what are your initial reactions?
I'm just happy we actually got the win on opening day this year compared to last year. A game of similar fashion, a game that Sounders dominated, open to close. But last year we threw it away in the last moment on a silly mistake. That did not happen this time. Sounders won convincingly, despite playing against the Rapids and the referee. J-Ross showed me a wonderful clip of the referee just for no reason stumbling and falling on the ground because he was probably drunk, which also explains a lot of the decisions that were made. But regardless of the drunk ref falling over, we got the job done. I'm not going to overreact. It is the Colorado Rapids at home. You know, it's kind of like the Seahawks beating the shit out of the Cardinals and then being like, we're going to win everything. Woo! You know, it's like, it was a good game. And I was impressed by Paulie Primetime. I was impressed, J. Ross. And I honestly think this might be a hot take. I think this is the best game he's ever played in a Sounders shirt. Just the most complete performance that I think he's ever played.
Don't quote me, but honest. I think Schmetzer said something to that effect. I think Schmetz said something about that. It's one of the best games he's seen Rothrock play. Like Paulie played like Paulie primetime and arguably the least primetime game we'll play all year. The late game on a Sunday after Sunday Night Soccer against the Colorado Rapids. But nonetheless,
yeah, I mean, he's had a lot of more important moments. Of course, all those late Houston Dynamo goals and the Leagues Cup final goal. But I think just top to bottom, this was the best game he played. He was in every aspect of the game. His touch was very good. He's beating players. Very good weak foot finish to get the second goal of the game. And then obviously the hustle to keep the ball inbounds. And then just that heads up quick cross right to well-known aerial finisher Albert Rusnak's head. Dude. It was just, and then defensively stopped the counterattack as well. Like Rothrock just did it all. And man, yeah, I was very, very, very impressed. And I hope that continues. Obviously, it is the Colorado Rapids. I would like to preface everything that I'm saying by it is the Colorado Rapids because we've ran into this trap a few times now. I mean, I can think clearly I think it was our home opener against was it St. Louis and Hebert scored and we're like, he's the GOAT.
We got a stud right here.
Yeah, won 4-0. We thought we were winning everything, and didn't turn out that way. So, we did what we needed to do. We did what a top team should do to a bottom barrel of a team, and it's a good start. So,
yeah, I mean, exact same thing. We looked really good, like top to bottom. I think there wasn't really anyone out there that I was really disappointed with. I'll touch on one of them a little bit later, but I'm also not really convinced by anything from this game because the biggest takeaway I had was how bad the Rapids looked. And it was, I mean, respect to the Rapids because they were hell bent on sticking to their style of play. Like they were adamant on building out of the back every opportunity they could.
Dude,
and it was it literally the best summary for those who didn't watch, but I know everyone here watched, would be if I were to sit here and smash my head against this wall over and over and over and over again and have you two keep telling me to stop and telling me the effects that have on me and continue to hit my head against the wall. Because the whole game was they'd play the 6, he'd play one of the center backs, they'd look to play into the Navajo, and then either Yamar or Reagan would swallow it up or Roldan would pick it off and we'd be countering. And the fact that it only ended 2-0 is a miracle. But
the Zach Steffen Manchester City tax. Bro plays there for a couple years, doesn't even play ever, and when he does play, makes mistake after mistake, and then he just thinks he can just pass it the back perfectly. I just kept saying over and over, like, keep doing this because you're gonna give us the fucking ball, and we're gonna create something off of it. And he got very lucky that we didn't, but several times where he made terrible passes, turned it over. Like you can't even blame. I don't even blame the center backs or the 6 or whoever got the ball. He's playing the ball, and there's a dude or two on their back immediately. It's like,
and the ball would be like knee height.
It's and actually, I do have one takeaway, and it is I want to talk about Paul Rothrock some more. A lot of times, it can happen where a player gets a big contract, and then you kind of just see the effort kind of go a little bit. But Rothrock was running around and playing like when he first got here, when he just came off the bench against the Dynamo, trying to make a roster spot. He still had that same intensity, and that's one of the things like I was kind of not all too worried about, but it is a possibility. Players get paid, and then all of a sudden the effort's just not there anymore. At least to the same degree it used to be. So it was nice to see that from Rothrock. And then also we got to talk about it. Jordan Morris, like it's just so
it sucks.
Sad. It sucks, man. It's terrible.
It all around sucks.
It's terrible, and I'm not a dude that likes to whenever someone gets injured, I always have a soft spot for injuries because it's like, he's doing everything that he can to get back. He really is working hard, and everyone in the club knows it. Everyone can see that, and he was so stoked about this season. Like, finally, I've had a long time to rest and prepare my body and stuff. And it's not even 10 minutes in the game, he just goes down again. And, I don't want to overreact or anything, but it's like, at what point you've won everything there is to win in the MLS, outside the MLS even, CONCACAF Champions Cup, Leagues Cup, you have the all-time scoring record. Team. You've played in a World Cup. You've done everything you need to do. At what point for Jordan is it like, so much effort and so much heartbreak to just keep damaging your body more and more? It's like, at what point do we consider hanging him up? And like, maybe that's dramatic, but it's like.
But let's preface this a little though. Though I think if we're on the same page, that thought process isn't coming from some of the fans online, like true like hatred and anger about him getting hurt.
No,
we're not viewing it that way. We're like, dude, for your like, in terms of we care, like this dude has brought us so much happiness. Where it's like it genuinely hurts me to watch him go through this.
Seeing, man, I feel go to the
so
game.
Bad.
I've gone on the game with my mom since I was like, 11, 12 years old, and we have a blast, we have a good time. I literally couldn't even talk for the next 30 minutes after that because I'm just like, I was just so gutted. And seeing him go to the bench, plop on the bench, hands over his face, just like, injuries. There's so much that's unseen when it comes to injuries, when it comes to the recovery process that people don't see. And, seeing there's a lot of people just harp and berate people for their injuries. It's like, it's frustrating. And you can even see, like, obviously what happened in the NFL, unfortunately, a few days ago with Rondell Moore. I mean, it's not like no one knows if that's why he did that, but just stuff like that, it doesn't help. It doesn't help when you're going through injuries and you're trying to come back and the whole world's just, oh, this guy's a injury prone. This
There's like a people side to it that is kind of. There's a people side that people just they don't look at it.
Yeah, it's like Jordan Morris. See, I was right. Jordan Morris is an injury prone bust. See, he's it's like, bro, fuck you. Seriously, to quote Ernest Jones, fuck you. Like it's devastating. It's really devastating, and I think especially a guy like Jordan, who's just, I mean, what, 2 ACL tears, several other injuries alone just last season. And it's frustrating, bro. It's frustrating. I feel for him. I hope it's something that's only at least a few weeks, and he can try and really do all that he can to come back and finish out the season. But feel for him, man. I really do. It's tough. It's tough seeing him out.
Where I was watching the game from, it was in the second half. He came out like 5 minutes late, and Morris is like, he's never been like the huge, like go out of the way. Like he's pretty mellow, like low key guy, not like, sound whatever. But he walked out, he was hood on, and it wasn't hood on. It was like hood covering his face on. And it was like all the fans are screaming at him. And all he did was a little like didn't want to acknowledge anyone. And it was like right then I knew like that it hurt. Like it genuinely, like I was like distraught seeing that, like upset. Cause it's not even like, this sounds bad, but it's not like this is a random guy too. Like this guy has truly give everything for the Sounders. And it's like, we forget that when he was coming up in college, like he had European offers. He could have went to the Bundesliga and he said, no, I'm playing in Seattle. He chose to play here. And it's everything he's done in his career has been for this city. And any fan that is genuinely like mad at him right now it's just disgusting. Where it's like, okay, I know people are mad about his contract situation, right? Whatever. Right now,
that's a whole separate issue. That's a whole separate
That has nothing to do with this. So people talking about that, that's just complete BS. Because at the end of the day, like it's proven, even off the field, like his foundation, like Jordan Morris is I'm trying to think, he's just an all-around dude. Like everything he's given up for this city is so, people don't comprehend it if you're not from Seattle. And I'm not going to talk about, there was one specific post online that was hating on Morris, and it genuinely, I'm usually the type where when I see stuff on Twitter, on Instagram that like hatred stuff, I just find it funny because I'm like, dude, no way someone is willing to go out of their way to post something like this. I was genuinely pissed off seeing some of the stuff.
Dude, I even saw some replies. I saw one. It was so weird. It was like this dude, from this USMNT circle fan base. He said something like, "This is what Sounder fans get for supporting Jordan Morris when he got called up to the national team." I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with what is seriously wrong with your brain? Okay, regardless if you think Jordan Morris is a national team player, like fans backing their player from their club going to the national team makes sense, regardless if you think he's that level or not. But then the fact to be like, this is what they get, like, bro, where's your brain? Like, where's your? We just with sports sometimes I feel like we just forget about. Obviously there's the natural shit talk rivalry, and that shit's fun. That shit's part of the game, right? But then it's just stuff like this. It's like, bro, you need to remember they're also human beings in times like this, right? It's like, it's so frustrating. And it's like you said, people get like that because they want to be right or correct about a take. It's like, it's such a weird behavior to like victory lap a player's injury, and like instead of no even like, it would make it a bit better in my opinion if they were just like, first and foremost, like, condolences. I mean, actually, you know what? You shouldn't even be saying, it's not a discussion of, see, he's the worst DP. That shouldn't even be in your mouth. But the fact that there's no condolences to Jordan Morris, it's brutal seeing you go through all these injuries trying to come back and you can't fully get healthy. Not even that. It's like, where is your brain, bro? It's like these people are not human. It's like you're not human sometimes. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it's sad, but I guess thoughts and prayers with Morris. Hopefully it's a quick injury. Hopefully he comes back, because I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you're a Sounders fan, you don't want to see this guy succeed, something is wrong with you in the head. Because, okay, I don't care if you hate his contract, him playing good helps you if you're a Sounders fan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you hate his contract, you should want him to play like the player that's worthy of that contract, because then the contract becomes worth it, and then now you're not mad. But some people just like to be mad at everything.
Yeah.
Some people really do.
But let's make. I was going to transition this off of being sad, but I said, you know what? Speaking of mad, let's make ourselves mad for a couple more seconds. Then we can talk about the happy parts of this game. Hassani Dotson made his debut. I thought before he got hurt, concussion, Smetzer said it's not that bad. He doesn't even know if he'll go in the final stage of protocol. I thought he looked good, though. And then, obviously, he scored the goal, and that was 100% a goal. I've watched it back double-digit times now. I still haven't found a foul. And then the referee said the foul was by number 9. You watch the clip. Ferreira's not involved in the play.
It ended up being on Osase for going straight up in the air. 50-50 balls are fouls nowadays, I guess.
You can see the dude whining on the ground. He goes like this. He's fake holding his head. He looks around, and then Dotson scores, and he goes, and it wasn't in pain roll back down. He's like, I messed up. And then all the Rapids players turn around, and none of them are calling for a foul. If you look around, they're all raising their hands because they think he's offside because they don't realize that their idiot teammate is sitting on the ground playing patty cake. So it's like, dude, what are you looking at? But
not to mention I just wanted to, on the topic of the referee being terrible, not to mention the red card just blows the whistle like it's the worst thing that ever happened. Meanwhile, Osase is in on goal.
In on goal.
Not really in on goal, but like a pretty clear counterattack.
But
just
watch later in the game.
All that's just rolled out. But
if you watch, I think it was Dayro's last play of the game. He drives down the right flank and outruns the whole back line with the ball at his feet. And I'm like, if only we had a clear opportunity for him to do that. But at the middle of the field with no recovering defenders, instead referee wanted to make it all about me time and accuse a dude of murder on the field when it was just, going for a header. But it's like, bro, what are we doing? But nonetheless, we can keep going on this a little bit because, it's time to let the Sounders shine. We can
just
let Fatty
back on Dotson
be upset
real
a
quick.
little bit
I just wanted to,
with
Dotson. Yeah, I thought he looked exactly how Hassani Dotson has looked his whole career. Just a solid dude. He's always going to put in a 6 out of 10 at least. Got on the end of that, which was nice to see, and it sucks that his moment got robbed from him. But, seeing him in the midfield, he didn't look out of place at all. He just looked solid, and that's what you need next to Christian Roldan. Christian Roldan will do the heavy lifting in the midfield, and, obviously he went out, and then Snyder Brunel came in the game. Snyder looked, he looked decent. He looked like a young player, doing too much a couple of times, but also lively, had a ton of energy on the field, run up and down the field. But good to see that Dotson's injury is not that bad. Honestly, didn't even really look all too bad. I was kind of surprised he got subbed all the way out, but it's a promising start to the game to the season for him for sure.
What scared me is, so obviously Dotson goes down, Brunel goes in, and then we're sitting there. It's probably the 60th minute. And I look at our bench and I'm like, dude, if Roldan gets a yellow or gets hurt, God forbid, or Brunel gets hurt, who the heck is going in the midfield? Because I'm looking around, I'm like,
Albert.
I'm like, I guess Ariola probably could do it, but I don't. Ariola's not
would be Albert, bro.
We would drop. It would be. I'm like, dude.
Imagine Albert and Snyder back there. Oh fuck.
I'm looking at that and I'm like, dude. Crazy enough, a guy like JP is, I think, exactly one of. We need to go sign a JP. We need to MLS
player coach deal. Can we get a player coach deal in there?
This feels like I'm looking at the bench. The Sounders, in my opinion, need to go get themselves a JP-esque, a Dax McCarty-esque guy who is just like an MLS. I don't know what Kellen Acosta is doing out there. A guy who is going to be a locker room vibes guy. We're down 1-0 in a Western Conference final. It's going to get the boys hyped on the bench. Been there, done that, but doesn't expect to play the minutes because we cannot afford to run this team. I don't think we can put as many minutes on Roldan's legs this year as we had last year. We played 50 games last year, and Roldan played every minute. Roldan's probably going to start at least one game in a World Cup. And it's guys, we need to go do something. I don't know if there's more guys that we're just manufacturing down at Tacoma Defiance, because apparently we do that now. But our midfield went from being our deepest asset to it's as shallow as a kiddie pool right now. And it's kind of that was a really glowing thing for me. outside of that, I don't know. It's really hard to get too many takeaways from this game because the Rapids were that bad. I will say, though, I was disappointed with Georgie, and I love Georgie, and I think he's a stud. I think he'll be really good. You mentioned it. You texted it to me afterwards. He kind of just went out there and looked like he was scared to be Georgie. He didn't really take any guys on. There were a couple like fast break counterattacks where he just like stopped. And I'm like, Georgie, your whole game is run fast, beat a guy, play it across. And he was just cutting it back and slowing it down. I'm like, Georgie, what? You are the fastest guy on this field, and it's not close.
Yeah,
why are you playing like Brewstack?
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, could be just a tactic thing. Maybe Brian just wants to slow it down, keep the ball. But then I see on the other side of the field, Rothrock gets the ball. He's driving down the line, trying to put a ball in.
Even so Alex Roldan was.
Yeah. So I'm like, what's going on this left side? It's weird. It's like Georgie now, last game, and then like Ryan Kent when he would come on last year. Stuff like that. It's like, do the thing that you're good at. Do the thing that that lifts bums off the seats. Do the thing that you're good at. Do the thing that you're brought on the field to do, which is beat players. And he did want, like, the only time he took a guy on, won a quarter. Like, got by the guy, won a corner. So it was just a bit confusing for me. And obviously he did have that whiff. I'm not going to make too big of a deal about a whiff. It happens. Shit happens. But
I can laugh out of it, though. That's always a win.
Say what?
I got a pretty good chuckle. I got a pretty good chuckle out of it. So, I mean, I'll enjoy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, one thing,
nice
I think
I suppose.
Let's acknowledge it because it bummed me out. And I was looking around towards whatever point in the game, and I was like, okay, like the crowd's actually pretty packed tonight. Like this isn't, there's a good amount of people here. And then I was just like thinking through the fact that this is our home opener, and we didn't even have the Hawks Nest open.
I know. Yeah. Why was that? It didn't. It looked like there was something going on up there, like some sort of.
All I'm saying is
or remodeling or something.
You mentioned how cheap parking was. Dude, we need to refine the Sounders fans, dude. Like it's just a bummer. It's sad. And I don't know, I'm a big idiot. I don't know how to make that happen. I don't know what they got to do cuz they offered beer and a ticket for $30. That's a pretty dang good deal. And
I think probably it's probably just players. Think about it. 2014 he had Clint Dempsey. I mean, that's about as big of a draw as we've ever had. Even like Raul is like an underrated huge draw. Like that dude his nickname is Peruvian Messi. Like you got his fan base, you got even fans of him coming to the games and stuff. And then I think that's really what it comes down to. You always have the loyal like 20, at least bare minimum 20,000 Sounder fans that are always going to be there no matter what. But to really like push those numbers high, I think it's just star power. I mean, at the end of the day, Sounders don't really have star power like that.
I mean, I think also it's another testament of like, I mean, you see it with Mariners during the weeknights and even the Seahawks the past couple of years. I think just public sporting events have become a little bit more harder to afford when people are starting to kind of count their dollars and budget away, especially after COVID. We saw a huge dip of watching live sports. I mean, it's a great thrill. And I think that the Sounders and the Seahawks do a great job of having a really avid fan base that are diehard no matter who's putting on the jersey or what the record may be. But yeah, I think that we're just having a stark overcorrection. I mean, like you said, during the Sounders heyday, parking, I mean, we laugh about it, but it is like a recession indicator. Like parking was $80, $90 and now it's $35 and the lot's still not getting full. So yeah, it's definitely something to monitor for sure, but hopefully throughout the season, the MLS is almost goes January to December. So hopefully that'll pick up once the weather starts getting a little bit nicer and the team starts to turn some heads.
Dude, does anything hit more? I guess Fatty can't relate to this because he just, was raised incorrectly, but does anything hit better, Brody, than like July, like I guess there won't be games in July, midsummer Sounders game at like late afternoon when it's like perfectly sunny out and the Sounders
right
are playing like
it's like
shut up, Carson. Shut up. And then the Sounders just piss you off and tie 1-1.
Just nothing like it. Just Colorado Rapids, some random free kick, 1-1 tie. I remember that. I vividly remembered games like that. Yes. Or even
I
like
will
early,
say,
early
I will
days
say
when
during
LA
the summer,
Galaxy
I don't
was.
think there's a cooler thing than when the Sounders and Mariners play a day game together. So it's like you do that matinee of like the Sounders at 10 and then the Mariners at like 2. I think that's a super cool thing that I've never experienced before, but I need to cross that off my bucket list because I've never been to a Sounders game. And I've grown up with somebody who's had season tickets, man.
You know what I love? There was a couple games last year, especially because like the Mariners were good, where especially down that stretch when you're clinching playoffs, there were multiple Sounders games where I would get to the Sounders game. And it was before the Mariners because they'd have like the 7:05 first pitch or whatever, and I would just be scrolling game time, no free ads. And once I'd see a cheap ticket, I would literally buy like a Mariners ticket in like the third inning of the Mariners game, and I would just go as soon as final whistle, just walk over to T-Mobile, and it was electric.
I took Brody to a
say,
Seahawks game where Brent Huntley dog walked us, but Brody's never like, "Hey man, Real Salt Lake in town. Let's kick
return
it."
the favor. Let's go at home against like Montreal Impact, and for some reason we get dog walked. Sorry, CF Montreal.
You know what?
Bad.
Time out. That might have. I think that was the game. Was that the game last year, or the year before? That there were Sounders were on their hard skid, and we just beat Montreal like 4-5-0. And everyone was like, "We're back. We're back."
That was like peak. Okay, bro, we might have to sack Brian mode, and then boom, 5-0. Raul Ruidiaz, I think 2 goals, three goals maybe. Paninka shot, yeah. That game was crazy, and then back to losing after that.
We were not back. We were as far back. Nonetheless, Sounders. Now we don't have a home game till April 12th because the grass is getting put in, so that's pretty sick. But we're away at RSL this weekend. Honestly, I don't want to waste too much time previewing this game because I think that this is kind of a similar vibe to the Rapids game where it's not easy to win on the road to RSL, but in terms of RSL as an opponent, I don't see them. Yeah. I don't know what the stadium's called now, but I remember growing up, it was like Sounders at Rio Tinto. There was a 0% chance we were winning, except for that one playoff game where Martinez scored that screamer, that finesse shot top of the box past Nick Armando.
Mario Martinez.
That's for us to lose. And then didn't we lose the next round of the Galaxy? Let's not talk about that. Let's move on. Let's get out of that. And let's not talk about that failure. Let's bring Fatty back in the conversation. Let's talk some Hawks. Let's talk some Hawks.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, the Super Bowl champions. I forgot. Yeah, not much,
won the Super Bowl.
Not too much to talk about the Super Bowl champions. Obviously, the confetti is swept off the street. We had a great parade. We talked about that a little bit last week, but just kind of some quick rapid fire off-season narrative things that I wanted to talk about with the both of you. We will dive in before the draft and as we approach free agency as well, how the Super Bowl champions will begin their title run. But I guess we could start with, now the rumors are true, even though downplayed before the Super Bowl. The Seahawks are officially up for sale. The Paul Allen estate has began searching for some partners. And I am honestly pissed off because there is just so much widespread panic and, ignorant fans that for some reason think that someone's going to buy our team and ruin it. And I just don't think people realize that there's not a lot of hands-on owners in the NFL. There's probably maybe 4 or 5. And the fact that the Seahawks would even relocate, that's something the NFL would have to vote on. And that's just the dumbest, scare tactic gimmick I've ever heard. So the Seahawks are up for sale. What do you guys think? And it's projected to be about $8 billion. So Paul Allen bought the team for about $300 million back in 1993. I'd say he gets a good return on his investment, which all goes to philanthropic efforts as outlined in his will. So what do you guys think?
To be honest, I don't really care till it's bought because right now I'm I don't want to put effort and thought into something that I don't know the outcome because like you said, I feel like of the big sports, the NFL is kind of the one where owners just pump money into it. They don't really have as much say as it's not like the NBA where you see your Mark Cubans of the world or your NHL. You know what I mean? It's kind of you have guys do your job, and Schneider, he's going to keep the team going. I'm not really too invested in who's going to buy it unless I see some weirdo who actually has reason to be scared of why they're owning the team. I'm Like, okay, whatever.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah, and it's just like the Seahawks aren't going to relocate, and every team, no matter what owner they have, has no problem extending players, paying players money. That's literally all I care about. You stay in Seattle, you're willing to pay players, cool with me.
Exactly. No, exactly. And that kind of brings us to our next topic. Obviously, there have been reports that our franchise tag will not be tenured this year to really any of our expiring contracts. So, kind of insignificantly, Tariq Woolen's playing up his market value a little bit with on Twitter, tweeting that he hasn't really heard much from the Seahawks so far into free agency. I mean, we are 2 weeks in. And obviously Kenneth Walker did not receive the $22 million fully guaranteed franchise tag for the next year. So people are signaling that it's going to be goodbye for Kenneth, but I'm not entirely sure that's a huge indicator. What I will say is listening to John Schneider on some local interviews and how they're preparing for the combine, things have kind of indicated that the writing is on the wall and the price just might be a little too high for the Seahawks.
Is that 22? Is it actually $22 million? I thought it was like $14.5 million for running back franchise tag.
I could be incorrect, but I was thinking it was in the 20 million range. I do know for a corner because I got those numbers mixed up because I did play GM on Pro Football Focus and I franchise tagged Tariq Woolen, and that was a $22 million fully guaranteed contract. So I shot myself in the foot there, but I'm thinking a franchise tag for kind of
running back is 14.2 through 14.5 says AI overview on Google.
Yeah, I think, with $72 million in cap space and a lot of guys you either want to housekeep or go out and get external guys, it just seems like kind of a large amount to already put on the books, especially when you're trying to balance the numbers for potential extensions of your other guys. So totally understand why the Seahawks would do that. That being said, I hope there is a little bit more want because I am a little concerned their plan at running back with Charbonnet being out for a while. He just got knee surgery last week, and that was on par. He didn't delay surgery, but that's going to knock him out probably throughout most of the season. So the Seahawks' current running backs, Velus Jones, Cam Akers, they're restricted free agents right now. So it's just like if the Seahawks plan to draft a running back, it's going to have to be within their first couple of picks. We only have 4 or 5 draft picks. So what do you guys think in terms of letting Kenneth Walker walk?
So to me, well, the first thing I'll say is I don't think the not tagging Kenneth Walker is like a death sentence to his.
I agree with that as well.
I think it just is we're either going to pay him or we're going to let him walk. I just no interest in tagging him. Even if we tagged him, he's not playing on the tag anyways. He'd probably hold out just like guys in the past like Lev Bell, Kamara, Zeke. I mean, you can name any running back. I would be bummed because I think Kenneth Walker, I mean, like you said, we're already thin as it is. Cam Akers, Velus Jones, respect to them, Super Bowl champions. They're not good at football. We gotta do something there. And I think Kenneth is actually, I think he's just truly a special player. I know running back is a replaceable position. Once you get beyond like the top 10-ish guys at the position, it really is pretty replaceable. But I think he really is special. So it would be a shame if we let him walk. I think there's a couple other guys we could look at in free agency, like Breece Hall being a name I'd think about as a player who can be special that you could offer a contract to. Will probably be less than what Kenneth Walker's making as well. But I really would like to keep Kenneth. I would. And, with the draft, there's talented guys for sure. Draft's always going to be uncertain. You never know until you actually see him play. And I think the Seahawks run game, it's our bread and butter. It's what we want to build our offense around. And when you have a special guy like Kenneth Walker, you really should pay him, I think.
Absolutely. So, J. Ross, I'll shift it over to you. Obviously, not a lot of dialogue going on with Tariq Woolen or reportedly Kobe Bryant. Do you think that is a little bit more concerning, or would you be happy to maybe address those needs externally in the draft and free agency?
I think that Tariq Woolen, to be honest, kind of okay letting him walk at this point. I think that he's going to get offered way too much money somewhere else to a fan base who doesn't realize that he's kind of a liability for the price that they're going to pay for him. So I'm kind of like, whatever. And then Kobe Bryant, kind of in that same boat where I'm kind of worried he's the type of guy that will somehow, he's going to get some more money coming from somewhere else, which is the same sort of thing where it's different than a lot of other teams where I trust the Seahawks to make the right move, like know when to walk away, and I trust them to be able to draft like good. And so I'm really not too worried about either. I will say, as I was kind of looking like I had that dumb look on my face, I was just looking up Seahawks who we're looking for to replace at running back. And we are projected to use a day 2 pick on a running back. I'm also seeing the Seahawks going after Kenneth Gainwell, which if we went from Kenneth Walker to Kenneth Gainwell, I'd be
Kenneth, and it's Kenneth Gainwell. Oh my God,
I'd be Kenneth back. Wait,
that would be.
That was the reason.
That's what I'm saying is, and I guess we could kind of transition to the last point. Is like the Seahawks. It's so pivotal. If you want to go back to back, you have your quarterback for at least this next year and the year after. So you don't really have to worry about that. But it's just like in terms of JSN asking to be the highest paid wide receiver and not even being close on extension talks. You're trying to talk to Devin Witherspoon. It's like it's almost like the Seahawks want to take this pragmatic, very, very laid back approach to the offseason because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But also, we do have a lot of contracts to either housekeep or the rich get richer. I mean, we could go and acquire a guy like Max Crosby. We could spend all of our cap space and maybe get a competent right guard for our offensive line. So we don't have a lot of draft picks to play around with. So my question to you both is, in free agency, would you rather us re-sign the guys that got us the Lombardi this year or seek to improve and maybe pay a premium on it?
I mean, the Seahawks were the most complete team in football, and that's why we won the Super Bowl ultimately. So we already got the guys. We've proven we've already got the guys. Would it be nice to get some reinforcements, particularly in the interior of the offensive line, specifically on the right side? Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. But I think we got all that we need, man. I really do. And I would totally not be opposed to just signing some guys back, running it back. Obviously, we can't bring everybody back. So guys like Tariq Woolen, you got to go. Guys like Kobe Bryant. I like Kobe Bryant, but you've seen similar things like with Geno Stone with Baltimore. And then as soon as Mike leaves, Geno Stone leaves. He's not the same player. I'm not saying that'll happen to Kobe, but it's just like, Mike is good at getting a lot out of
Also, no offense to Kobe Bryant, but like, what player is he going to be the same to? It's like he's never really warranted having a premium contract. But I mean, I agree with you. I'm like, I think maybe pay Kenneth, but try to front load it. But you really can't. So as it's a business at the end of the day. It's really tough. But guys like, role players like Drake Thomas, we have a couple on the defensive line. And it's just like, it just must be a tough balancing act, especially with the lack of draft capital, which is why I want to see us trade down from 32. I really think that it would be beneficial to just get maybe it just depends on how the draft unfolds. Maybe someone wants to hop in and try to get like that Eamon Worry before the second round starts. Not really sure prospect wise. There isn't a quarterback you'd really hop in to try to jump everybody, but I'd love to see us flip that 32 to maybe a third and maybe an additional sixth or just something just to have more youth. I mean, I know we're a really young team already, but we're going to need to fill some holes because guys are going to have to walk. But J. Ross, as we do progress into free agency, is there a position that you would like to see us go and attack externally, maybe bring a new face into the lineup?
Honestly, with this team, I kind of would just do whatever's best available that makes sense. Because my biggest fear is us spending money, like you said, and then it being a flop and us buying ourselves out of some of the bigger names. Because like we said, we have Spoon, we'll eventually have Darnold, we'll have JSN. Like we have our actual big names we can't afford to let walk coming down the line. I don't really have a position besides right guard where I'm like, go get someone, please. This is a big seeping hole. But also at the same time, like we just won the damn Super Bowl. So like obviously we don't have a big, huge like hole in the team. And so just right guard. But outside that, it's like if a deal falls in our lap, let's take it. But I don't want us to be like, okay, like don't be like, to bring it back to Sounders fans, like we need to go get a striker and I'm willing to cut off both of my feet and my right hand to get a striker. Like, no, I want us to just not hinder ourselves because at the end of the day, We're at the top of the mountain for a reason. Let's not fall down.
Yeah, and sometimes I guess it's important in free agency to really flash the cash. I mean, Brody and I significantly were like, dude, why in the fuck did we pay DeMarcus Lawrence a 3-year contract? And it was a lot of money. And also extending Leo Williams, it was just like, we were just like, I don't know. But, it does pay off and you have the money to spend. It's not going anywhere. But it's just a really interesting spot for Seattle to be in. Obviously, having your quarterback and wide receiver one figured out, you have most of the defense under contract. And it's interesting to me to see that they've already spoken to JSN about an extension. It makes sense, but it just shows where our priorities are. I feel like there is an alternate reality where we don't let Kenneth Walker leave the teacups in Disneyland without a contract, So, it's very, very interesting. So, it's a new era in Seattle for the Seahawks. So hopefully it starts.
Here, wait, freeze. I want to see. Wait, time out. I want to see what Brody. He said. Speaking of that, are you talking about Kenneth Walker's contract or like teacups?
No, I'm just looking at let's say we let Kenneth Walker walk. No pun intended. I'm looking at some of these names, and it is bleak, man.
I was really
the more I look at these names, a running back day two that will be the cowbell back. I mean, that's ridiculous.
The more I look at these names, the more I'm like, we need Kenneth Walker. I don't care if it's 15 mil a year, and we have to, maybe there's an out in that. If it's 15 mil a year, I assume there's gonna be some sort of out in the third year. But I'm looking like, outside of Breece Hall was interesting, like Travis Etienne. No, I'm good.
I wouldn't mind Travis Etienne for the right price. I feel like he would fit in exactly what we would need, especially with Charbonnet back.
Brian Robinson, Najee Harris, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins good, but injury prone. The one name that is interesting that we could get really for cheap is Tyler Algier. Like, I think that is a pretty interesting.
I don't think he goes for cheap. The Falcons said themselves they can't afford to pay him starting running back money. So Tyler Algier,
I know he would get a starting running back bag, but I don't think it'd be anything crazy. Like, I don't think it wouldn't be 10 million or more. It'd probably be like 6 mil, 6 years, or 6 years. Fucking wow, 3 years, 6 mil a year, something like that. Like Algier's a 1,000-yard rusher in the league. He did it his rookie year. Obviously, they draft Bijan. So what are you gonna do about that? Right. 26, not a lot of tread on the tires. Like, that could be interesting, but it's just not Kenneth Walker, though, is it? It's really not. Nick Chubb.
We're just going to have to gaslight ourselves into a running back that we either draft or sign if Kenneth Walker is not the man. But that's really all I had for the Seahawks. I'd much rather get back on the ice. Obviously, we have some Kraken stuff to preview as we're getting off the Olympic break, and we're back to playing all the damn games to close up before the playoffs. So, J. Ross, even though we are a Seattle podcast, let's celebrate our boys in blue.
Dude, I've never been so happy and so alive at 5:40 in the morning, dude.
I can't
drop here 5:10 a.m. You 2 weak-minded losers weren't up. My alarm 5 a.m.
Well, I watched overtime.
Freebird was blaring.
I woke up at noon.
Freebird was blaring at 5 in the morning, and I was worried it'd be one of those things where when you wake up and it's just like your alarm goes off, and we've all been it. And you kind of just like you're half awake, and even like you get out of bed, but you're like not fully functioning. My alarm went off at 5 o'clock. I was wide awake. Like, my heart was bumping. And I don't even know how to explain how happy I was when Hughes scored that goal. Like, it was on par. I mean, it was on par with the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl didn't have a moment. I don't know how to explain the happiness that I felt when he scored that goal. And then I got to go out with my friends that night, go to the Sounders game. One of them happened to be a hockey player from Canada. Oh my gosh, have I ever talked so much shit in my life? That was the best. And then the Sounders went on to win. Another person in our group was a Rapids fan. That was the best I've felt.
What a day.
What a group.
Dude, I'm surprised that I am still part of this friend group.
The real question is, how does a Canadian hockey fan, a Rapids fan, a Sounders fan, all because how does that front group happen? It's an interesting
D3 college soccer, baby. D3 college soccer. It's where to go. Place to be, boys. Nonetheless, I don't even know. And we're Seattle, so I'll work my way back to Seattle. I was listening to podcasts today, and they were talking about that goal, us winning that game. And I'm not exaggerating. I got like that feeling of like excitement, adrenaline, like tingly excitement feeling at work at 1:15 in the afternoon today when they were talking about the game. And this guy, Fatty, was asleep.
Yeah,
so
no, for sure.
I watched the overtime goal, man. I was there. I was awake. I did a little fist bump when we scored. Yes.
Also, I don't want to hear any BS from any Canada fans. You had the 3 best players in the world on the ice at the exact same time and still found a way to lose. Connor McDavid can't win the big one. Biggest fraud on the face of the earth. We'll see you guys in the playoffs. You're going to get Grubauered. Speaking of Grubauer, Gruby had a good Olympics. Not so great when they went out, but we'll leave that. Oscar Fisker-Molgaard, big goal, first game of the tournament. Awesome to see. And Ellie Tolvanen, Capo Caco, able to go get themselves a medal. Actually played pretty good. Capo getting on the score sheet a few times. Excited to see. Let's transition this back to Seattle. Capo will keep that goal scoring trend going. We saw him heat up a little bit before the Olympics, get some goals over in Italy. Let's keep that rolling. Don't bet, kids, but I know someone that might be in this chat who has a future on the Kraken making the playoffs because they felt that confident, that injection of energy during the Olympic break. And
I don't know anybody who would have that. I'm not friends with people who gamble.
Exactly.
Also, 100%. Can I just say, before we move on back to Seattle, I may not be a hockey fan. I may never watch a full game of hockey in my life. But what I will say is I know the feeling, Jaros, the electricity you feel when you beat the shit out of a Canadian team. I know how it feels as a USMNT fan every time you beat Canada, as a Sounder fan every time you beat Vancouver, Toronto. Toronto, 2 different MLS Cup finals. I know how it feels. It's one of my favorite feelings in the earth is just beating the shit out of a Canadian team. I just love it. I don't know why. Honestly, I can't explain it. I was a big LeBron fan. The Bronco days were amazing.
Mariners beat the Blue Jays in the ALCS. It was great.
Yeah.
Shut up. Okay, go back.
That was painful. I genuinely was heartbroken when that happened. Not even because I like the Mariners, because we lost to a Canadian team. Just it was brutal.
Dude, after the game, my buddy, he sent us a photo and he goes, at least the Blue Jays won here at Jordan. And my friend just responded back and goes, win a damn Super Bowl. How is it?
Yeah. Win a Super Bowl.
How many Super Bowls does Canada have?
Go get your great day that there's a Canadian NFL team is the day I stop watching the NFL.
How many SEC championships does Canada have? 0.
Yeah, 0, buddy. The Winnipeg who? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, so D-Ross, let me ask you this as we're shifting back toward the Kraken's pivotal playoff push. Obviously, they're in position right now. I have a question for you, and this is more of a league-wide basis. I mean, we are seeing some really tense rivalries between the U.S. and other countries, just boasting their nationalism. It's exactly how international sports should be, in my opinion. But do you think this nationalism is going to cause maybe a riff on some NHL rosters? I mean, because there were literal guys shit-talking their teammates on NHL teams. But is it all just for the love of the game, or do you think there's going to be some serious turmoil?
Hockey. No, I don't think so.
Bro,
it's
for the love of the game.
Yeah, I think that in terms of guys guys that are on the same team, no. What I will say is this stuff will boil over when they play. Next time, if somehow the Panthers manage to play the Oilers again, I don't know the schedule. If the Senators go and play the Oilers, I'm tuning in and I want to hear the mics on that one, because anything that Kachuk say to McDavid or Draisaitl is going to be must-watch TV. And it's lame because I don't think the Kraken really have anyone that's going to do that, because, I mean, our guys on the team aren't really the types to stir the pot like that. But it won't affect the locker rooms. It will affect
the Kraken need.
Dude, on a much grander scale, it's basically like playing club soccer the whole year, and then you go play high school soccer, and then you guys get back to club, and you're like, we fucking beat the shit out of Snohomish, we beat the shit out of Linwood, all this stuff like that. That's basically how it is, just on a much grander scale.
Yeah. And it's weird, also for in terms of the US team, that team has had such a brotherly bond. Like they honestly do. I think it's known. They put these guys above everyone. Like they've been playing together at the development program since they were like 14. So I think it's just a different type of connection these guys have. So I don't think it'll affect the team's locker rooms. And luckily for the Kraken, we weren't good enough. So we didn't really have anyone there outside a couple guys who don't really stir anything up. I mean, one of the guys there, his name is literally the German gentleman. So nonetheless, I think the Kraken are in a good spot. Some of the rest of the guys will be good for a playoff push. I will say, we talk about it every time we talk about the Kraken. I really think that we're going to make a splash. I think we're going to make a big trade. We were willing to throw the bag at Panarin. So I think the Kraken are going to make something happen. I think we're going to bring someone in. And if we don't, I'm not even going to say that. We're going to bring someone in. There's no big free agents this offseason now that Panarin's locked up. So keep an eye on the Kraken making a trade. But let's move over. The last big team we're talking about. Let's let Fatty activate his takeover because we are somehow 51 minutes in. Yeah, Seattle Mariners playing some of the most important games of the year down in the Cactus League. What's up with them?
Right. Cactus League kicked off this past week. It was great. Obviously, super emotional with Rick Riz having his last season in the booth. He is just adamant on aura farming, and he's like, the last thing I want to say in the booth is that we won the World Series. I'm like, Unc, listen, man, we got to make it there first. It's not like we've been there before, but it's always great to start off the spring with the team. I said this last episode because there wasn't a lot to talk about, but now there's a little bit to talk about. I think the number one thing is Cal and Julio have really emerged as clubhouse leaders at such a young age, and it's really crazy. Like Cal Raleigh activated his LeBron GM mode, and he's like, hey, Mitch Garver, just give the Mariners a call, see what they have to say. And Mitch Garver the next day gets a minor league contract with Seattle. But it's super cool. He's been mentoring even the young catchers in his position that are in our organization. So that's great. I never really saw him and Harry do that together. So maybe that's a huge reason why he's no longer here. But an interesting article I read in the Seattle Times today was that how Julio was very blunt with Cole Young, who struggled in his limited time last year, and coming into this year knowing that everything's in front of him. He's got Colt Emerson right next to him, kind of gunning for his spot as well. He was involved in trade talks this winter. So I put Cole Young on the highest pedestal of having the most pressure. This is a guy who wasn't really rated as a huge top prospect out of the draft. In fact, when he was drafted, he was immediately shit on. If you go watch it, he's like, his arm's kind of sucky, maybe a left fielder, not a true shortstop. So now you have him at second base, and there are just people outside and inside our organization that value him and his potential as an analytical hitter. I just think he needs a lot more sample size and time at the plate at the major league level. So I'm very excited to see him. Hopefully he wins that battle and just keeps going. But, I would love Colt Emerson as well, or even Michael Arroyo. Jay Ross was like, is Michael Arroyo going to be like our second baseman? And I was like, maybe, but I don't know about this year.
Actually, your response was he might just be the base.
Well, you're like, will Michael Arroyo be our second base? And I'm like, he could be a literal base. Yeah.
Because we're walking all over him.
But
he's the best Arroyo in Seattle.
Listening, Brody can relate to this, being a soccer guy. It's so funny hearing Fatty talk about like how impressive their leadership is at such a young age when Cal is 29 years old. Well, like, imagine Brody. This is like 25. This is like us being like, dude. It's so impressive how much of a leader Christian Roldan is at his age. Like it's so impressive to see it.
Well, no, yeah. I meant
no, it's part of baseball though.
It's very impressive for him to
29 in baseball is like 26, 25 in soccer, isn't it?
He's on the big contract, so you expect him to be kind of me like some other players. But yeah, he's really dove into a role. But other than that, some final notes that I have are Logan Gilbert. Congrats on the sex and having a newborn at spring training. That's awesome. Everyone's like, he's a dad now. And it really like, you see the rotation like mature as men. So they're like, yeah, it's really crazy. Brian Wu like still wants to be a frat guy. He said he's trying to bring the age down a little bit because everyone's getting married or having a baby except Brian. And dude, Logan Gilbert's bullpens, man, he's been looking sharp. The velo's up, and he's definitely going to be opening day starter in my opinion, and he might make a case for Cy Young. Maybe only wants to play one game for the U.S. team. Tariq Skubal will take a step down from Cy Young, but yeah, he's looking great. Our new additions, Brendan Donovan and Rob Refschneider, they haven't played a ton in spring, but they're just veterans, so they're really running on their own time and going to really seize that opportunity when guys leave for international games and things like that. But yeah, vibes are at an all-time high right now to be a Mariners fan. It's not like a hypothetical that we're going to do good this year. The sports books have us third in the MLB and World Series odds and just runaway favorites in the American League West. So it's a place that we've never been before, but it is really awesome to take it all in. And I'm excited, man. We're looking decent.
I'm excited too.
Yeah,
I was thinking about going to the opening day game, and then I saw the One Piece tickets, and then I get a text from my buddy. He said, "We gotta go to this one, man. They're giving out free cool jerseys. Come on!" So that will be my opening day. It's looking like.
Hell yeah.
That sounds electric. I will say, dude, this is the most fun time. Actually, historically, this has been the most fun time as a Mariners fan, because right now is when you can convince yourself that we are so much better than we are. But this time, we might not be lying to ourselves, which is a pretty cool spot to be in. Because historically, we all knew that we were lying straight through our teeth. But now, you put it in the notes here, Vegas agrees with us. Like, look at the odds. This is weird. Like, opening day, we're going to be looking back at some other teams, like, trying to chase us. This feels uncomfortable. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like,
there's a lot of
like Will Ferrell, like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
A lot of expectations for sure. But that kind of brings us to the end of the episode. And I want to make a few shout outs and maybe a suggestion. First of all, shout out at Utah_Hawk on Instagram. If you guys have Instagram and have the pleasure of scrolling, dude, this guy is hockey reincarnate. He had 41 beers in 12 hours watching the U.S. team. And I just wish he was a Kraken fan. I wish we could bring him on the podcast too. I think that'd be electric, but he's a Utah ride or die.
Did you see him at the Utah like college hockey game, bro?
Dude, J. Ross right now, edit in just a 5-second clip of him just going nuts about the U.S. team right now. 58 minutes. Like, geez, man, he is legit. He's like, I had 41 beers. And I'm like, oh my God. So that brings me to this, fellas. We got the World Baseball Classic coming up. And I'm thinking of doing a live stream in one of our pool games on Twitch or on StreamYard or whatever. We do a 9-9-9 challenge.
Dude.
A 9-9-9. I'm uncultured. What was this? 9 beers, 9 something, 9 donuts?
Not 9 donuts.
9 beers, 9 innings, 9 hot dogs. There is
oh my.
If we get I will do this as a reward if we get to a certain number of subscribers, and it has to be a high enough number where it's worth it. I don't know if we'll do it for the World Baseball Classic.
Beers, or we could just do the hot dogs. If we want to be family friendly, we could just do the hot dogs. Like, if you want to be family, I'll do the beers. You can do the hot dogs. And
I'll do the beers before we start.
Brody's like, and I heard there's donuts.
Okay. 9 donuts.
There is no donuts, little bro.
9 blizzards. 9 papadillas.
Go back.
Brody would
back
love
to 999 challenge. 9 blizzards, 9
like,
papadillas.
I gotta go back to IHOP.
9 pancakes, 9 blizzards, 9 McFlurries. All right.
Wait, baseball's going on? I just wanted to eat 9 papadillas in 3 hours. This sounds awesome. What the hell are you guys doing?
That's all I had. It's an action-packed episode around the leagues.
You know what? No. I got a shout out too.
Okay.
Chippy Jack, the Mariner Band. This guy came up on my TikTok for his Sounders song, and that was the best piece of art. The Sounders song.
I listened, and I was like, "What is blessing?"
Let's put a clip of that in
ears?
right here too. Oh my God.
Sensational.
This guy does it for like all the sporting events. He does it for Seahawks. This guy's a living legend. He's my GOAT. That that Colts guy, like, this is our Colts, this is our team. Nah, he is put to shame by Chippy Jack, the Mariner band. This guy is my GOAT. He's my legend.
Chippy Jack.
If we had, he's the GOAT.
Can we get Chippy Jack on the show?
Can you?
That'd be phenomenal,
dude.
How much money do we have to put out for him to make like our theme song to put at the start of the episode?
Yes, do that. We're DMing him right now. We're spamming him right now. He's gonna do our intro. Oh my god, yes.
Dude.
Oh
that'd be okay. Perfect.
We're getting that done.
Okay. That's where we're
That's
ending
the
this,
free
boys.
agent signing right there.
Yeah, exactly. Screw NFL free agency. Screw everything. This is the real signing we need. I hope you enjoyed this episode, boys. I was yapping about the Sounders starting off strong start to the year. Some Mariners talk, some Seahawks talk. If you guys are enjoying the videos, drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. Fatty pointed the wrong way. Boys,
I always do.
Nonetheless, we will see you guys next week.